it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today for the Creating Kindness blog and video hop. I will have links to everybody else's project on my website, which you will find linked in the description bar below if you look for associated website. I'm going back a little bit to the annual catalogue and the Timeless Tropical stamp set, but I am going to be giving it a new twist. So our theme for this month's hop is friends or friendship, and the card that I've made, which is incredibly bright, and I have to say I love it, is this one. So these are from the stamp set, as is the sentiment, our friendship is timeless. But as I say, I've given it a real twist with lots of new product. So the first thing I'm going to bring out is my card base. We're just using a standard Whisper White card base, so just so you know, I've got that ready. I've also got a couple of pieces of the Magenta Madness designer series paper. This is from the In Colour pack, the 6x6 In Colour pack. So it's got dots on the back and then this kind of fabric self pattern on the front. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's the front. And these are going to be the strips that go down the side of the card. So as you can see, we're using the minimal amount of paper because we're going to cover most of it up. I have already popped my my embossing folder through my die cutter. This is Granny Apple Green, and this is one of the two embossing folders that are in, let me grab it, the greenery embossing folders. So there's this kind of self-pattern, leafy pattern, and then this this really nice falling and raising foliage. So first thing I'm going to do is trim this down. I'm not going to trim it down completely, but I'm going to trim it down its first trim, if you like. So with my trimmer, I'm going to line up and just make sure that I've got the edge cut off. So that's that. So I've now got a nice clean edge where the embossing folder stopped, and again on this side. And then I'm just going to trim the top and the bottom again so that we've got just the embossing rather than the plain card as well, because we don't want plain card, we want embossed card. So let me just get that lined up about there. So this is going to be too long for my card front, but that's fine because I will just trim it down. So to get this relief picked out, I've got a sponge dauber and my Whisper White craft stamp pad. This is the old style. They come uninked, and you just put some ink on them and that's it really. So my sponge dauber, and I'm just going to very gently add some ink, some Whisper White ink to my embossed piece, because that will then just pick out this wonderful pattern. I don't mind if a little bit goes on the background. My main thing is to pick out the pattern, so that's a little bit more obvious. You don't need a lot of ink, just, you know, this is I haven't put a lot of ink on the pad, and I'm just picking up ink from the pad anyway. I do like that we can take products that we've had around for a bit and just give them a new lift with some new products. It's just a nice way to show that you don't have to ignore the products you've already got. You can just add to them a bit. Give them a new lease of life. So with the new Magenta Madness, obviously that's going to give it a real pop of colour. Okay, so that's about all I need. So as you see, not difficult, but it just brings that that pattern a little more forward. Now, oh, I know what I didn't get out. Let's do that. What I need is a small piece of Magenta Madness. So, piece of Magenta Madness. And I know we don't have it anymore, but I will still use my embossing buddy. We are trying to create a demand for it. We have a facility where demonstrators can ask for things, and we managed to get the piercing mat back, and now we're hoping we can get this back, as the embossing buddy back as well. So I've inked up with Versamark, and I'm just going to try and keep this as straight as possible. See, I should have put this on my block slightly crooked, then it would be more likely to be straight. Doesn't actually matter, because I am going to fussy cut around it. So let's add my ink, my powder, for crying out loud. This is the white embossing powder. Yeah, not a brilliant bit of stamping. It'll be fine. It'll be fine for one very good reason, because I'm not going to make you watch me fussy cut it. But let me just bring in my heat gun just to melt that, so that you can see that it just melts beautifully away. As soon as it starts to melt, just move your heat gun on a bit. And there we go. And as I say, I'm not going to actually make you watch me fussy cut it, but what I am going to do is just show you, because I keep saying it, wait until it's dry, because it does actually melt. It becomes a liquid, and that's what happens if you touch it too quickly. So just so that you know that. Right, okay, as I say, I have already prepared one, so wasn't too fussed that I did a not very good job of stamping that. Right, so the other bit that we've got to do, which is possibly the bit that you're waiting for me to do, are the flowers. Now I'm going to do that with my Stamparatus. Let me just pop those bits out of the way. So I've got a piece of our shimmer white cardstock in here, and my flowers. So the first thing I'm going to do is to stamp these, making sure that my card is right into the corner, which it currently isn't. So I want it right in there so that I know that if it moves when I put it back, it will be in the right place. So ink up my florals. Blow the hair off, add a little bit of embossing buddy just to be on the safe side, and stamp. Beautiful. Now I'm going to wipe that off, as in wipe off the ink off the flowers. So clean my stamps. And ink them up again with Versamark. There we go. And stamp over the top. And now I can take this, bring in my clear embossing powder, and add clear embossing powder to my flowers. I'll just and run that over it again. So that's beautifully done. Okay, it's all in the right place, so now I've got to melt that. Let me get rid of my stamparatus. And bring in my cheese board again and just melt. And again, as soon as the colour turns, you want to move on. There we go, and you can see it goes a little neon, but it's beautiful. So, to then colour, what I am going to do is grab one of my water painters, which I have there, and my Magenta Madness and my Mango Melody ink pad. Actually, I might bring in a second water painter. I'm going to need to change the barrel. Now, these screw the opposite way from the direction you think they're going to. It took me a while to work that one out, but they do, and I still find it really difficult, not difficult, awkward, to be unscrewing them the wrong way. I don't know why, because I've got to screw them in both directions ultimately, but it just feels weird. So just bear that in mind. My customers got a set of these as their thank you gift for shopping with me in June. So just in case they're all wondering, that's how you do it. Right, okay, so I need some Mango Melody in the lid of my ink pad. There we go. Don't need a huge amount, a little does go a long way. And I've got enough Magenta Madness. So I'm going to use the larger brush with the Mango Melody and the smaller one with the Magenta Madness. And I want to add a bit of water so that it's flowing, and then just add that to your petals. And you do want this to be kind of flowing, and I'm quite happy to go over the edge a bit. So this is not precise. I'm actually going to need some more ink, so I'll get my re-inker in a moment. So I think I'm going to need some more Mango Melody ink. Okay. Let's see what happens when we add to the Magenta Madness. And you just want it kind of, you know, in a few places. And let it do its own thing. I might actually bring in some Calypso Coral, which I think I used on the original. So we might grab that as well. Bear with me. If I can find it. There we are. Calypso Coral. And I'll use the same brush that I used for the Mango Melody, because it's much that's better. So just add some of this in, and as I say, we're going to go over the edges as well. So basically you just keep layering this up until you've got the look that you want. See if we can get some more Magenta Madness in there. As I say, just keep building it up add it across the middle. You can then wipe that off when it's dry. So as I say, just keep building your colour until you've got the result you want. Then die cut them out, and as if by magic, Blue Peter Special. They will dry lighter because obviously we've got water going on. It's not actually come through the back, but sometimes it does. Yeah, here we had some coming through the back. So keep that going. Wait until it's dry, and then you've got all your pieces. So, our Whisper White base, thick Whisper White base. I always use thick Whisper White for card bases if I'm going to use white. You can use the ordinary Whisper White, but I don't think it's got enough weight to it. And we need our pieces of patterned paper. And I'm just going to, let me grab my silicone mat and add some adhesive onto my strips. So I'll go all the way down that one. So that's that one ready to go. Whoops, and not attached to me, please. Thank you. And then again, now this I'm going to add. Ooh, actually, is it that side I want it? Oh, it doesn't matter, does it? Because I can just turn it over. Silly. So I'm going to add it to the ends and one side. And then bring in my... Now, the reason I use the silicone mat is the glue doesn't stick to it. So I'm going to bring in my card base and line that up with the top. And then down the side, and then this one. Oh, I know what I've done. Stupid! Stupid! I bet you were screaming at me while that was happening. Did I keep the other piece of paper out? That would have been too simple. Oh, I did. I was going to say that would have been too simple for words. I can hear you all going, you're sticking it on the wrong side, Liz. Okay, so let's find another piece of paper and do that again. Silicone mat on the dot side. I always say, you know, we all make mistakes. It's fine. And down the middle, off the end. There we go. Let's try that again. So here's my piece that I've only just done. Wasn't it good that I got it right first time? Haha. So we'll pop that onto our card front. And now while I'm doing all this, do remember you can subscribe at any point just by hitting the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. So that would be great. I'm just going to add some adhesive across the top and the bottom before I add my embossed piece. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am going to use liquid adhesive, but having a strip of the tape runner means that I know that at least the very top and the very bottom are going to be well adhered. As you probably know if you've joined me on my videos before, this is my glue of choice. I am adding more than I would normally because we've got the embossing. So let's go this way. And I'm just making sure that I overlap the two pieces of Designer Series paper and get that in place. Press from the back. Now you do need to make sure that before you put it in the post to your friend you leave the white to dry. It's still a little tacky, it's a pigment ink, so it does take a little bit longer to dry. Grab my sticky scissors and just trim across the bottom from the inside so that we know we've got a nice straight edge. Much easier to do that from the inside. get a much neater finish. And there we have our nice neat finish. Right, okay, so popping this up on dimensionals. Don't need a huge number. I quite like the idea of putting one in each petal. You could put one in the middle, but I'm quite happy to not put one in the middle. And then remove the backings. Then I'm going to have the slightly straighter edge, which is this one, over to one side. Yeah, about there. Stick that down. Then this, I'm going to put one dimensional on the back. And then I'm going to tuck in underneath, which is why it's quite useful to not put too many dimensionals on the back of this piece, because otherwise it's not going to go in there. And then I'll grab a little bit of liquid adhesive just to try and encourage the end that's going underneath to actually be on the base of the card rather than... So I want that to be obviously lower than this and this. So that's that. Now, the slightly tricky bit is the for the brain that I apparently don't have today, for sticking this on the piece. The piece! So all I'm going to do is take my dimensional pack and just trim a narrow piece off the edge. And then that is, it's really, really narrow. So you can then take the backing off one end, or one edge, and then just pop it across your sentiment. Now I did cut it halfway because it is quite narrow at this point, so I did cut that down, and then another bit there. So that's that bit, and then a piece there. And down there. So as you can see, it's basically just a bit like a jigsaw. So you just want little pieces where there might be a problem with it going through the mail. Last piece. Okay, so that piece we can get rid of. And once this is stuck on, we are very close to finishing. So do remember to go and have a look at all of the other design team projects. So have a hop round the rest of the hop, have a look at the other videos. I'm sure you will find a huge selection to get you inspired on our friendship theme. Just realised I've taken one of these off. And it's not going to go back on in the right place. Never mind. Won't worry about it. So this then goes across the bottom. And then the final touch are some of our enamel dots, which are in all of the new in colours. I'm going to ignore that because I think I know who that is. And they can wait. I think it's my husband, and he's just... It was my husband, who seems to be trying again. So, have a fantastic day, and I will look forward to seeing you again very soon. And there we are. If if you've liked it, do give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave those in the description bar below. And I will see you again very soon. As I say, go and hop around the rest and have fun. Bye!